All right, well, welcome to the Beyond Cinema Lounge, sponsored by Celebs.com here at the Toronto International Film Festival. Miguel Gomes. Firstly, Tabu. How hard is it, to follow up a film like this dear month of August that received so many accolades? I mean, it won awards in Mexico and Argentina and Brazil and Vienna. It was put forward by Portugal for the foreign Oscar. How hard is it to get back on the train and make another movie?
Well, to be honest, you don't have a choice. So if the previous film would be like a completely failed film, or if it's a huge hit, I don't think it's neither one of these things anyway. You just have to move to the next one. And so it's like, for me, it's every new film is like starting from the beginning. So I'll tell you a secret. For instance, in each film we have like an official drink for the crew, and then it was beer in the August film, and here we just moved to gin and tonics because it was an African film.
Is it the same? Did you use a lot of the same crew as well? Were they happy with the shift, or did some demand a return to the beer?
Well, they are free. I'm not, Hitler or anything like this. So they are free to drink wherever they want, even water. It's their choice, But but it's true that I work with some of them for a long time, namely the DOP and also the sound man, and so we know each other for a while, and that's very important to because we know each other very well.
Writing, directing, editing, taking on all those responsibilities yourself. I think all except for one of your projects you've written and directed. So it's like, so do you still consider it like a collaborative process, or is it more that you have a vision and you're just kind of trying to work through your story that you want to tell?
Well, I'm the boss. But for instance, in this film, what happened is that like in the previous film too, there is always one day when the producer comes in and he says, okay, don't have money to do the script. And then I get a little bit pissed, but I have to move on and to reinvent the film. And for instance, in Tabu film, what we have made, it was the same thing happened. So we just created a group within the crew called the Central Committee. And the Central Committee should invent a new script every day. So there was no script in Africa. We just made the film while filming it.
When you go to these different places, I mean, it was a co-production between various countries as well. How does that all work for you? Like, do you use local people on the ground, or do you personally just go there and spend time there until the story kind of comes to fruition?
Well, I try to spend some time. We don't had the co-production with the Africans, with the Mozambique, because they don't have any money to put on the film. They don't have money to eat. They don't have money to do cinema. But with this co-production thing, what I do is I have my own contract with the Portuguese producer, and I tell him, okay, you can put Brazilians, Germans, whatever you like on the film, giving money, but I only have to guarantee that I can be free, and that's your responsibility to do whatever I like, even if it's to create the Central Committee and to invent completely new scenes every day.
And so how early in your career do you think you earned that right, or is that something that happened for you from day one?
In Portugal, there is like what do you call it? Collateral. What's this thing on wars? Collateral damage.
Yeah, collateral damage.
Okay, only collateral damage of being in a country where you don't have much money to do films. So we are poor. We have a certain freedom. We can allow a certain freedom because of the lack of depression of industry or money, So That's I had this from the beginning, and that this is something that happens in Portuguese cinema. We can afford to have all these things, the final cut, to because we are filming with less money than other people, so we don't have this industrial pressure on us.
Yeah, the film obviously won a couple of awards already at Berlin Film Festival. Is it always interesting for you to take it to all these different countries and see how different audiences respond to the film?
Yeah, of course. Though I get sometimes homesick, but of course it's very good to be in another countries and to see how the audience reacts to the film.
Do the audiences in Portugal respond very differently to you and your work then? Do you feel like maybe they're looking for different things than perhaps, festivals in Europe audiences?
We had a good response to the film because it was already released in Portugal and it made well. Though I always think that that everybody in the cinema is different. So when we talk about audience, it's like an abstract thing. I think there is a scene in this film, Tabu, where you have in a theater two people watching a film. One is crying. I think she's very touched by what she is seeing, and there's another guy sitting next to her who is sleeping, and so they both are Portuguese and they are reacting to a film in different ways, and I think that this happens in every theater in every country.
Like why it's drawn, the film's drawn comparisons to Uncle Boon Me as well, just because it has, I guess, a non-traditional structure and it has a beautiful kind of poetic quality to it. When you make a film like this that doesn't fit into like a normal pattern, are you curious? Like, is that intentional on your part because you want to evoke a different response from an audience, or is it just the best way to tell whatever it is, the story that you're trying to get across?
I cannot do it otherwise. It's just the way I can do it. I really like Happy Chapong's films, and particularly Uncle Boomy and Tropical Melody. They're very impressive films. But I think I never asked this to him, to Happy Chapong, but I guess he's doing what he thinks is interesting, and he cannot do it otherwise. And I don't think it's possible. For me, it's not possible to anticipate the reactions of people. I'm not a wizard, so I would like to be the Wizard of Oz. That's a good film too. So we just make the film reacting to what we've got before us, the actors, the places, the things that we want to film, and then it's in God's hands or something.
Or the crocodile's hands.
Yeah.
So the crocodile obviously comes in throughout this movie as well, and you asked one of the characters what she would call her crocodile if she had, what she would call this crocodile. What would you call your crocodile if you had one? This was decided from the beginning that should be Dundee, Crocodile Dundee. I went to Australia and I said this was the only homage in the film was to Australian cinema with Crocodile Dundee. But they asked me in Berlin why the crocodile, and I just said, well, I like crocodiles. And then I said, maybe crocodiles look so old, like prehistorical beasts, and so maybe they remember things that people have already forgotten. And then I understood that maybe this crocodile has something to do with like memory and time, like a witness of lovers getting together and separating, and empires being born and falling down, things like this. Certainly lovers separating and memory is a kind of central theme between Pilar and Aurora as well. But so is that the case for you often, that you perhaps find the meaning in your films long after you've finished making them?
Yeah, but that's because maybe I'm not very smart, you know. But hopefully I'll get there, and maybe I'm wrong, you know. Maybe it's not the most important thing for me. Sometimes people are talking about the point of view of the director, and I think that the most important point of view is the point of view of the people that are watching the film. And what I try to provide in a film is like a space where you can choose things. I mean, there is lots of ambiguous things on my films, and I think that gives the opportunity to the person that is seeing the film to place himself and choose what he's going to. For instance, have scenes that are at the same time comical and tragical, and so there is one people that thinks that's very very tragical, and the other one is laughing, and I think that's nice.
Well, that's one of the benefits of film festivals, is that you don't get forced into opinions very quickly, and I think this is going to be one of those movies where people think about it for a while and try and work out what it means to them or what it means in general. So congratulations on the film, and thanks for joining us for a few minutes.
Thank you.